Hello, for today's video, I'll be talking about all of the books that I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading 4 books. There's stretches of time where I'm reading no books, and then there's periods where I'm just reading book after book after book, and then there's periods like this where I just feel like I want to read everything. And each of these books is very different from one another, but they all have something that I'm looking for in a book. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to know what book you're currently reading and whether or not you're enjoying it and what you think about the characters and the plot. I won't be mentioning any spoilers in this video. The first book is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and this is a science fiction book. It's the same author as The Martian, which is a book that I started but never finished for some reason, but I believe after I finish this book, I'm going to pick that book up because I did not expect to like this book as much as I am liking it right now. I'm only about 250 pages in. So far, it's just getting better and better. So essentially what this story follows is a man who wakes up on a spaceship and he's all alone, but there's 2 other crewmates who are dead. He doesn't know his name, he doesn't know how he got on the ship and why he is where he is or where he even is. We follow his journey figuring out his purpose and why he's on the spaceship to begin with. We know that it's for an important reason, like saving humanity important, but how? We're not sure. Why I really like this book is because the ideas are so creative and they're explained and justified in a very clear manner. Because there are concepts that I find complicated because I don't know that much about space or space travel, but I feel like the author does a good job of explaining those aspects of the book. If I can understand it, then most people can as well. But other than that, I also find the main character really lovely, and so I really like when I like a character. The next book that I'll be talking about, I'm actually reading it digitally, but it's The Center Cannot Hold by Ellen Sachs. This book is a nonfiction book. It's a memoir, and it's based off of the author's life. Essentially, the book takes us through her journey with schizophrenia. I've been wanting to read this book for years. I first heard about her through a TED Talk, and I remember being so moved by that video, and I've watched it so many times since. And so I figured now is a good time for me to actually read the book. Because for some reason, I just felt very compelled to her story, and I feel like the story that she's telling is a very important one, especially in regards to how we treat those who struggle with things like schizophrenia. I guess I just wanted a deeper understanding of a disease and the system that treats that disease. And I feel like this memoir is a good start for me. So far, I found it so thought-provoking and really insightful, and it's making me reflect on a lot of things. And it's deeply personal and vulnerable, and I truly do admire the author. The next book is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. The reason I bought this book is because of Hannah from A Clockwork Reader. I really liked her videos, and she mentioned this book a couple times, and so I decided to read it. I'm like 120 pages in, and the writing in this book is absolutely beautiful. I love the writing. I would describe the writing as being haunting. I think that's a good word. Also, considering the premise of the book, I think it's fitting. Essentially, what it follows is this main character who goes on a trip and she meets this man, falls in love, and they get married, and she basically moves in with him. Following this, she realizes that there's a lot about this man that she doesn't know. And a big part of the story is Rebecca, who was his wife, but she passed away. There's a lot of mystery around her death. I'm really looking forward to reaching the point of the book where all of these mysteries unravel and I get a clearer picture of like what's going on. The last book that I'm reading is L'Étranger by Albert Camus, and I'm reading it for like the 10th time in French, or attempting to read it in French. I wanted to read my favorite book the way that it was written, but also I do want to get better at speaking French. The Stranger is my favorite book, and honestly, I'm not entirely sure why I'm so drawn to that book, but I just know that I am. No book has ever impacted me as much as The Stranger. The book is very short. You could basically finish it in one sitting. The book offers a discussion on absurdism, and that's a school of thought that really appeals to me. And this was my first introduction to it. It was through this book.